The hardest thing with, my daughter and the situation right now, right? Like everything that's like parent alienation, like nothing should be this way. I shouldn't, there's no real reason, like, because I've always protected my child. She's always been safe. By my ways, she's always had a great life. But because his belief and his projections of me and how he's seen me he painted this picture of me to her. And that's what parent alienation is. And when parents, but the thing is that because at the same time, because of my abuse and my history and my past, I didn't know how to set those boundaries either properly. So he constantly stepped on them for years. And so did she. And even in other ways with Steve and his situation, so did she, because of his guilt. And you try to do the right things and everything else, but then these people, they take and take and take, because you might have made a mistake or different things, but they take something you did, your guilt, and you put more guilt on a situation that actually shouldn't be that way. If you were like, but it took me all this time to step back and look back and go, holy fuck, I didn't really know where it came from. So the issues I have is that I've been separated from my daughter in a way that they separated our connection, and they don't understand how they did that. And that's a narcissist, and that's parent alienation, and that is abuse. I can't have that communication with my daughter and say, well, that's a daughter, and that's how it is. But because of the constant brainwashing and everything, and how hard I had to work to put on, a show, because I'm always on eggshells, even around my own child, that when I got angry, which I know was out of character, she is scared because of the illusions they painted. Plus, it was out of character. More so, and then there's these parents who are constantly yelling at their kids, fighting with their kids, abusive, all of these things. I made sure my daughter was safe, and I lost my child. I went, like, yelled at her a handful of times in life, and rightfully so. Like, other people would have gone, how the hell haven't you before? My grandma slapped me across the face. Like, I deserved that. Like, there's things that, and that's the thing. My ability to mother my children was taken away. And it's why I guess I have such a need to give so much love, but I'm so burnt out and exhausted. And that's the flip side, is that I am, and so is Steve, are making the ultimate sacrifice by giving our kids the space they need to heal, grow, and develop, because none of this should have happened this way, but we haven't stopped fighting for them, and we do every day, and giving them the space, but doing what we need to do to heal and be selfish now, because we haven't been able to be that way, because everything we've done has been, we've allowed these people to dictate. And he has too, really, to dictate everything, because she took that much control. Oh, I'm the mother, I'm this. And I allowed it too, because, having these conversations right in the beginning when she tells me family's only blood and the kids are never going to be sisters and all of that, the pressure that I took. And I was never, and she painted this evil picture of me too, but she was also nice about it. But it's like, oh, that's not your mother. Well, no, I'm not trying to take over as a mother, but I never did. But in that household, if I treat her anything less than an equal daughter, how much corruption would that cause for the child? So I do the right thing. So that is what a mother does. And that's why I believe, like, even for my own child, I say that, like, in spirituality, when you get that much evolved, is that the spirits are taking care of her, which means the guides, the mentors, because I can't teach her everything. So it's more like, I birthed her, she's my child, and I'm her mother, and that is never going to change. So if I get strong and I show her how to be that strong, I'm her number one role model. But right now I've been painted a different picture. So she has this anger towards me, or these different things that she wants to, they've set her up to always be competing with me. Now, we naturally want to compete with people in our families, people in our lives. Like, it's who that is and what that dynamic is. Our core family relationship is how we associate other things and other relationships. So, and we take it out on the people we feel comfortable enough to take it out on if we're really angry. And that's why a lot of times spouses and all of this, like, don't understand, like you can't just abuse your spouse, like, all, and abuse in any way, like, meaning, like, just shit. Oh, well, we're in a relationship now, it's been this long, so I'm just, like, my day's shitty. You can see, like, how people affect your day. That's what I'm trying to show. Like, so, you know, you go to the park, somebody makes you mad. You go to customer service, somebody makes you mad. You hold that in. You don't address it. You don't talk about it. You don't deal with it. You bury it. Then you manipulate or take it out on the people you love, and you wonder why you have issues. And most humans do that. Most humans do that. Then you take it on a different level where people become more and more insecure or more isolated or more different, or they get more power, and then they think they can just dictate things. That's like people that crave power, you know, are running corporations, billions of dollars, whatever. Like you set yourself up so that you're in charge of those people. It's a way to dominate, and everything comes back down to, I hate, like, everything when you bury deep enough it has to do with insecurities. That's why this is so, like, I'm creating a social anxiety relief program, because every single person on the planet had a form of social anxiety and they just didn't know it. I called them on that. I know I did, because that's an insecurity. Because if I take your money and your fame and your power, what do you really have? What do you have? Because that's what everybody needed to realize to lose, because so many people were surrounded by friends, family, and things, and going, holy shit, no wonder. Or not realizing when you, like, that like, if you, because many of us in the group especially have been separate. You know, you love somebody and then it's very common, right? You get a divorce, separation, and that person, especially if they have a strong personality, how they manipulate your children and different things, and then your kids become like at you, and it's like, holy fuck, you can never get away from this, like, never. And people that haven't lived like that, quite frankly, or in love or what, don't know. Or I've seen this, like, you have big families, big things, and they're so controlled by their family, and they think it's love. And I, from an outside perspective, going, and it looks like it is and everything, but really they talk behind each other's back. They're there for each other, but it's like they're really, like, wanting to put each other down. There's somebody that's always left out. You have to do things because you're like, oh, that's your brain. Like, it's like this whole thing just became a fucking mess, because humanity is what's family, and that's the point of this. So if you feel like you're an alien, you feel like a misfit. That's a misfit. That's where this comes from. And our brains are what connected us. So it is true. Like, if you can evolve, that's the point. Our brains are so old. We've been doing this for so long. So I don't want to keep doing this anymore. And that's why I'm more connected to my daughter with the space right now, because it reconnected our brains and where we were at. But I need to heal, because right now my focus is to get the foundation of this business done for the world too, because I am attached to caring about the world. That's who I am at my core, which is the path I have to follow. The Spirit's leading me down, because when I heal, my mom, like, everybody, I watch my mom heal, my daughter heal, because I'm like, that line, my friends heal, the people around me heal. But I realized I was giving everybody else around me my strength, and I needed to take my strength back. And that's why I say, even watching, I've known in my core, because you sit there and like, somebody can be a shit and you don't say something, but you're looking going, what is wrong with you idiot? That's how I feel about a lot of people when I see them in the media. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. You're not, like, anybody who thought you were so rich and famous and you were the bee's knees. I'm the person to cut, like, Dave showed you these videos to fucking make you look like an idiot. And that's the point. And then I put these videos into programs and everything else and whatever, and prove people stupid every single day. And I sit here and go, I know I've made the ultimate sacrifice, but I had to do that with my own programs. I had to make my own thing. I had to do something that was never done. I had to go further into pain and observe humanity, observe myself, and use my own life as that sacrifice. And understand the long-term plan here, I know realistically, is I have the truth on my side. I have the truth on my side. I have not had a voice. I have not been allowed to speak. I'm the one judging me about even, like, videos and feeling uncomfortable. So I have to release them now slowly and get back to feeling that way. I'm the one who feels uncomfortable. I had to make myself look uglier too, because I didn't feel good being pretty. That's what people don't understand, that if you don't like those ways. And I didn't identify as pretty when I was like that. I didn't, that type of attention is uncomfortable. I don't want to compete with my daughter on those things. I don't talk about the kids about those things. I never did, because I was like, I am not going to do what my mom did. She didn't realize she did it because she was abused. But that's all the conversations were constantly all about my appearance, about food, about my weight, or what I looked like. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this again. So I need to do something else. Well, the only way to do that is self-help. Self-help is self-discipline. That's the point. I just was doing something else. And some people who have grown up in those opportunities where they can go out and do it academically or do that because they are able to focus, don't understand what the people that have had to actually do the real shit and live through the abuse have had to face. That's ADD. That's addiction. That's where it comes from. And guess what? I'm roping you in. If you're a workaholic, you're in the same team. You're in that too. And if you're an overly concerned academic who needed the certificates and you needed those justifications with the titles, guess what? And that's why you're all in the group, because there is not one goddamn person on this planet that is able to get away from this. Why? Because it all comes back to death, and everybody needed to die. You guys killed me over and over again, over and over again. And I say that because that's the world, the environment. But I needed to die to wake up. So it's the same principle. So why? That's karma. It has to come back. Like, when I say this is the game of killing, it absolutely is. And I know I am a legit psychotic. And I had to understand that, but understand why. I was going to kill my stepfather. My life would have been ruined. How unfair is that? He rapes and abuses me every day. I have to put on a fake face, and eventually I say enough, and I'm going to kill this guy. But God's grace, my grandma came home. But I was going to kill him. That was the decision. So I fully fucking understand a killer. And then I spent the rest of my, teens really craving death by putting myself in bad situations. I worked in bars. I did things that in unsafe neighborhoods, and I didn't want the bouncers because they were more creepy. Like, oh, I'll walk you home. I'm like, fuck you. You just want to get in my pants. Get away from me. I'll take my chance with the fucking crazies. Why? Because that's self-defense. And plus, I grew up around that shit, so I'm not that's why they put me in the hospital. I'm fucking. If you were to watch surveillance tapes in the hospital, it would look like I'm rallying up all the crazies and whatever, because I can communicate with them, because they don't scare me. You know what scares me? Manipulative liars that hide behind money, fame, and wealth. Those are the scary ones, because they're running this system. They're way more scarier to me. And that's who I've had to take on. So that's the fucking battle that I've been fucking facing, because you guys are the biggest bullies. And I know I've taken you all down. I know I have. It's just a matter of goddamn time, because I didn't do it alone. And that's the whole point. That's the point. And I've had to, and I knew that when, with the stuff, when the bullying was happening with my friend or whatever, all of that was told to me then, and that was before I went to the hospital. But I was like, I can't. And they were just voices. But they were clear, and I was telling them to Steve. And I do not like talking about my spiritual side. Why? Because I've been a believer at my core. I'm a person who just knows. That was the difference. It wasn't God I turned away from. I didn't understand things in life. But I've been mad and going, I wish I had a different, there was times, of course I wish I had a different life, but I wished for death all the time. I only had enough guts to try to take my life when he pushed me too far, because he had me so fucking brainwashed, and living with his abuse was so much. And that's why people take their lives. And people go to the hospital to get away from their homes and their circumstances, and they go to the hospital, there is zero help there. So I am making the help. So it's either you're going to be fucking supportive and on my team to make the help, and you're going to help the world, or you're a part of the fucking problem. And quite frankly, those are the people I don't want in my life. And quite frankly, those are the ones, if you think that I'm not picking a fight, you're fucking dumb. Every day is a fight, but it's a matter of who can take the fights, who can take the hits, and how we're going to fight. And then the rest of it's going to be taken care of by karma. That's how it works. So you want to fight, you're always in competition with your spouse, your loved one, your person. But if you're in a healthy relationship, in a healthy way where you're creating and you're building things, so you're not actually fighting. But you have to work through all that first. And because what happens is when you get into any relationship, you're taking the baggage of your whole life. And it only lasts for so long. And as soon as this is fun and whatever fades, and people go whatever, or then they start doing other things and then you don't realize how you're hurting people and you drift apart. To be connected to somebody on an intellectual level and emotional level that's the ultimate relationship. And that's when sex is elevated. And that's when, you know, you don't need medication to get your dick hard or to have whatever. It's because it's all the other things that are taken away. It takes away your masculinity. It takes away your femininity, all this. Like, no, I'm not going to be fucking turned on if I have to fucking be cleaning, cooking, doing all the shit, doing all the work, doing everything, and then fucking catering to somebody all the time. Then, like, eventually you wear down, and women will start to, and vice versa. But people are weak and they run. And I've been weak, and in those different, I get it. It's just understand why. That's all I'm saying. The whole point of this fucking program is understand why. So now I understand why I've even had to make these ultimate sacrifices. And the truth is, I'm still in a depression. I can only do so much because my energy now needs to go to building the foundation of this business, the foundation of it, because this is what's going to set so many people free. So many people free. Mainly first me, because that's what I need to do, and my child, so I can rebuild that relationship, and then putting everything into it. But that's why it's like, fuck, like, take it, do whatever, because I said, like, I was begging for somebody to fucking hack it and take it. I was, because I'm like, I can't do this anymore, because I've been honest, I've been abused, I needed help. And that's how I've been spiritually guided. And that's the truth. And that's the ultimate belief, when you just know. You just know. And that's why I've listened in my lifetime when the voices are so loud. But mentally ill people have those voices. Like I said, they're just scarier. What is the people's ultimate fear? Their dreams. And if you're not sleeping, you're not dreaming, you're avoiding, because dreams are your guides. Who the fuck is in your dreams? And then you figure out that's an avatar version if they're a celebrity, or if they're a person you see on a regular basis, or whatever, until eventually you realize, shit, no, that's the actual person. How am I going to get in touch with this person? How the hell am I going to get in touch with Bill Gates? Like, I've never talked to him, but I fucking know I got in touch with him. How? Well, we fucking say his name a bunch of times, put it out on the internet, and start threatening people. Eventually they'll hack you, right? But because he's a saint and very misunderstood. So if you and he didn't even fucking probably realize that, because I know, because we had a whole thing about it where, you know, the God science thing, and he went, oh my God, like, because I'm sure he thought people were fucking with him too, right? You guys are fucking with me. This girl's in on something. No, this girl's been in on nothing. She had to tell off Hollywood. She had to tell off politicians. She had to tell off the government. She had to tell off fucking the police. She had to tell off the fucking world leaders. She had to tell off the fucking famous, the actors, the rock stars, the men, the women. I had to tell all of you off. All of you off. I know I had to. But I also know then the strongest people, that's why I went to the strongest people, because I know they get it. And that's why we have this, that's the dynamic. What do you need from me? And because all I wanted was your friendship. And because I didn't have it on a level where I could be myself 100%. Your friendship allowed me to be that. I like being funny. I like joking. And then we're in a competition. And that's the joke. Like, that takes a lot. Obviously, I've never talked to Michael Jordan, and that's pretty intimidating. But I see how he talks, how his friends talk to him. I know his history. I know his stuff. So if I poke at him and tease him because I know he wants to win everything, that'll make him crazy. What's it going to make him? It's going to make him want to work harder, not less than. And that's why I see him as, like, I have so much love. That's love. Because when I need somebody, he's there as a brother. He's like, I fucking have your back. Because we've been doing this for a long time now. That's how close I could see you guys. And when you creep me, it's a human. Like, you know, when Tom was right at me, and Hayden yesterday was right at me. Like, you guys come at me, I see you so clearly, but I'm not fucking saying everything, because then that's no fun for me. That's the only thing I have. However, I'm just a doll, right? That's the thing, is like, you have to surrender yourself over fully, but also take back your control. So, okay, so what's good for me? What's my guidance? What am I doing? So I've stuck to my principles. That's self-help. That's the program. That's my thing. That's the training, but only in certain parts and in certain areas, right? That's my thing. And then in other areas, that's your thing. And I rely on your, like, really on guidance every day. I don't know. I'm trying to get my strength, and eventually I'll have all my strength back where like I want to work, like my energy, because that's more me. Like I was always a person who was like, I was even only in the last few years was able to be in the house and stay kind of safe, and that's why I had to take this on, because I was always go go go, always out, always pleasing other people, always in like, that's the exhausting thing. And people like that are, you know, in the limelight or front, like they get it. So I was like, okay, well, and then they also get, if you are more of an introvert at times, like how stressful that could be. And that's why a lot of people turn to drugs or alcohol or different things, because it's like intimidating. Oh, I'd rather just play my guitar because then I don't have to fucking talk to anyone. Well, that's your creative, that's great, but like it's that they're missing something here, right? Like that's why, that's the point. So I had to learn. I just made everything art. I'm like, then the whole fucking world's art, and I just had to learn my place, because I can't draw. That like that's not. I'm sure but that's not my way out. So I learned the computer graphics and all that only last year, and that's been my out. And I'm getting better at it because I do it every day. And then I learned the video stuff last year. Thank God, last year, because that's how I've just got, because the spirits tell me what to do. They say, put this in here, do this. That's how I do it. That's it. I just learned. It's like, they'll catch me if you can. He's like, how did you do it? I fucking, I studied for a week and then I did it. My brain works different. So it's like, in some ways I'm really fucking smart, and in other ways I'm really fucking dumb, because I'm like, couldn't even figure out how to get 80%. Like the number. So fucking great that I went to, how long did I go to school for math? I went all the way up to college with math. I can't do a percentage. Well, what a waste of time. What a waste of education then, right? Like, why not just get educated on like the shit that there's so much shit in school they teach that we don't need. Waste of time. It's actually like, it hurts my daughter's head. I could tell, like, it makes her feel dumb. It actually, like, the way the educational system is set up, it's actually, so you get bullied, you get shit on, you get whatever. Like, the people that didn't have the glory days of high school, don't see it that way. That's like, it wasn't fun for me. I wasn't, like, I fucking hated high school. I fucking hated school. I fucking hated all that shit. Like, I was always working, but I was very good at talking to people and, doing things. But then I realized they take from me, like, what people, I'm nice or whatever, and I have a way to attract crazy people. I didn't realize that, and then I'm like, get away from me, especially dating or different or whatever. And if I got a vibe from somebody, they were like a player or whatever, I'm like, I'm out, right? So it's, yeah, but you like okay, I'm going out with you, I'm going on a date, whatever. Oh, but that's and maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I was wrong, but I'm like, if that person's like, seems like a player or too good or whatever, I'm out. Like, you could not get close to me. And that's where, like, so on the flip side, where Steve has helped me, and we've brought this back around, now that we're not together, but it brought it back to the beginning and romance and everything, because I have to learn how to let that in again, in a way, like, in our marriage, like, it falls, like, for both people, but it strengthened our relationship and our dynamic, and that's changed. And like, we have to help it, and then there's different things, like, that's going to be the next, so I have to, in this process, I'm going, well, fuck, like, we're not the only people getting a divorce, so why do, and especially if you've shared good things, celebrating that, and then it's not a threat to the next person. Like, I've deleted everything. I got away with like, after a relationship, some people hold on to everything, and I'm the person, I got rid of everything. That's why there's no pictures and evidence really of these things, because I was like, well, I don't want to do that to my next person or the next partner, and I tell myself it was for that in ways, and it was like, because I was also a strict person on exes and different things too. It, like, I didn't want to talk, like, shut down, because I felt like, because I was with somebody who fucking pushed it on me all the time, the opposite. And it was all, like, constantly talking about his ex, constantly talking about people. I'm like, this is not making me feel good. Like, you're obviously hung up on this person. And people that don't get that are. Like, it should be like, you move on and whatever. It shouldn't be regular conversations and that's fucked up. Like, that's, like, you're not over that person. It should be that, celebrate it, whatever, but you don't, like, eliminate it, because if especially, what would you do? Okay, so you're a celebrity, you've done all these movies, you've done all these things, or you're in the limelight, or you're a politician, whatever, you've had a relationship. Well, that documentation's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. So you have to address all those things first. So that's where I say, like, I've been honest. I told you, look, with Jim being my soulmate, I believe that. I know that. Like, that's how much faith I have. And that's a fucked up thing. I did, like, at first, obviously, this is taking a lot, but it's like, I have to work through all of that and the dynamics in the relationship. And in that, because in this whole thing, like, if I'm connected to him, I'm connected to them, and then, but it's a safe environment, nobody's gonna hurt anybody, nobody's cheating on anybody, like, and what I need and what he needs clearly are different, because I had a different life, and we have to, like, understand that, and his dynamic, and what he's comfortable, and that's why I don't judge people on, like, things that aren't comfortable for me. So sexually, I'm a prude, right? Like, no, I have not participated in any of these fucking things, group sex shit, like, fucking any fucking threesome, like, nothing. Like, I'm a fucking prude, right? Like I said, I had one experimental thing with these girls back when I was in fucking college, and they became so fucking creepy. And I did, like I said, I didn't really, they did, and I left. So it was like, I did not participate. They became crazy to me, right? So I was like, fuck, like, because obviously for all of this and understanding, but I attract, so I was, I guess, judgmental for me. Like, so, like, there's an episode of American Gods, and in the one guy, I can't remember his name now, but he's more religious and whatever else, but he's gay, and he had a partner, and it was like in love with him, and then, you know, go to this like sex club or whatever else, which they did a great job showing artistically and stuff. I have to understand that I was judgmental to that. I'm a religious type of person who's very conservative, right? So even though in my mind, I've worked clubs, worked things, I don't judge people that had that lifestyle. I was like, fine with friends, but I can't see it. I don't want to participate. I'm like, so obviously I'm still judging it. Like, I had to understand that and understand the dynamic unhealthy, because I don't want to be with somebody who's going to cheat on me. So that, like, or in a situation, because I'm so not giving away my body to anyone that doesn't deserve it. But there's an element of understanding that this is so many different levels, and it's very confusing for me, because obviously in this, that's why I can't even talk to Jim or whatever else too, because there's so many different spirits that come through, and I have to see these scenarios, and I'm okay with it, obviously, and he's always there. Like, he's told me, I'm like, and that's weird for me. It is weird for me. Right? And I've been honest with Steve, like, I know it's how I see you. So that's the chakras in the teachings, and that's like when you become more evolved, and that's how we connect. So what things will happen in real life or not, or the past or not, like, some will, some won't. That's how it works. That's the circle, the past. Like, did this happen? Was this, if it feels that real that was done. So obviously I go, how are they really doing this? I don't actually know, but I'm like, how would this be? I'm like, do I have an alien robot doll sex body? And how would they put that much energy into that to make it connect into my body? There's that God component and the science component. I don't actually know. I don't. But I'd have to imagine that to be true, because it is too real. So it's too real for too long. For too long. Over a year now. Or did Jim do it? Or is it Jim and Barbie? I don't know.